Hi everyone, and welcome to another live session from the series How to Get a Professional Job in Australia. And this is live session number 119, which means that for the last 119 weeks, I've been having live sessions here on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, talking about the engineering qualification validation in Australia, and also about how you can get your first professional job as an engineer here in Australia. And sorry for the delay, I was having some technical issues, as usually it happens in live sessions, but even after 119 sessions, there's always something that goes wrong. But first, for those that don't know me, my name is Gerson Ida. I'm the founder of the website www.engineersinaustralia.com, a website to share content of value and useful information to help you in your journey to validate your engineering qualification here in Australia. And I also share information about workplace health and safety, environmental management, day-to-day of engineering in Australia, and also obviously about professional engineering recruitment. And if you haven't joined my Telegram group yet, you can use the link that I'm going to copy and paste in Facebook and YouTube. Those ones on Instagram, you can go to my link in my bio, and the link is there. And why is it important to join my Telegram group? Because my Telegram group, I share the PDFs of these live sessions, and I also share other posts and contents and notifications as well. So what you need to do, you probably just need to download the Telegram app first. And once you download the app, you can then click on this link, and it will then go to the Telegram group, and you can join for free. Okay, so I said I was going to run a checklist for you to get better prepared so you can get a professional job here in Australia. So without further ado, the first item in your checklist would be to invest time in your CV. So it's important that you prepare your CV professionally. If you don't really get some professional assistance, it's good for you to observe some important things that your CV should have. I usually do a special live session just about CV, but tonight is going to be very brief, just some very important points for you to observe when you are preparing your CV. So the first item in your CV is to include the basic information in your CV. And this is very common mistake many applicants they make when the basic information that will determine whether or not you will be selected for an interview is in your CV or is not in your CV. And some of the personal information or basic information would be your personal data, your goals, your skills, your employment history, your academic history, your professional references, the objectives that you have when you apply for that position, and some of the outcomes that you have achieved during your professional life. Another important point that should be in your CV is that your CV should be customized for the vacancy that you are applying for. So that's another common mistake, is when applicants, they use the same CV template or resume template and content for all vacancies that you guys apply. So the CV must be personalized and customized for each vacancy that you're going to apply for. This does not mean that you need to make up or invent something or experiences and skills just to match with the position that you apply. But it means that for the position that you apply, there will be some specific characteristics that it's important for you to tailor in your CV. This means that you must emphasize the specific experiences you have had and include in the body of your CV that addresses the skills or selection criteria required by the company. Another important point in your CV is that a lot of candidates, they leave until the last minute to write up the CV. So don't do that. Don't leave until the last minute to write up your CV. Your CV should be written with a lot of planning and research. You should take time to research the company, the industry in which the job is inserted. You probably should talk to the recruiter about the job and clarify any questions. So perhaps when you talk with the recruiter, you get to know a little bit more about the position, and then you can tailor a little bit better your CV. And this time that you spend doing this research will serve as the basis for customizing your CV and will make the recruitment panel members interested and impressed by the quality of information contained in your CV. And remember, they will be receiving dozens of resumes, and if your CV has a different touch, you're probably going to have better chances to be shortlisted for a professional interview. The other point in your checklist that's going to be important for you to be better prepared to get a professional job is about your cover letter. It's important to understand why the cover letter is so important. In most job opportunities, there's the role description or job description, where there is a brief explanation about the company. Sometimes they hide the company name. If they do that, then obviously you can't really do much about it. But sometimes they talk about the industry or the area that the work is going to be. It also explains what is the expectation of the position. Usually they outline the functions and activities that are going to be assigned to the position that's being recruited. And most important part is how you're going to address the key competencies or the selection criteria in your cover letter. Those key competencies or selection criteria, they're usually part of a merit-based recruitment process. Sorry guys, I need to just blow my nose, sorry. Yeah, sorry for that. So the most important part of the cover letter is how you're going to address the skills and competencies required in the job description, and make it clear that you are explaining with real examples of how you performed that task, what were the difficulties that you encountered, and the problem-solving methods, and the final result that you have achieved. And remember, companies are recruiting generally on a merit basis. But what is merit? Merit is how much a person has the relevant skills, attitude, competencies, qualifications, knowledge, experience, and personal qualities to perform the tasks in question. If relevant, how the person performed tasks in previous work, or how much the person has a potential for development. And usually the merit evaluation criteria can also be described as merit criteria, selection criteria, candidate profile, the successful candidate will, is this role for you, key attributes, capabilities, core capabilities. So when you're reading the position description or the role description, usually there will be those words. So you need to pay attention and make sure that in your cover letter you address those points. And also I'm just going to see if I can share my screen with the PDF. Where's my PDF? Why is not showing up? So I'm going to share with you my PDF. Where's that? It's here. Word PDF. PDF checklist. Yeah, that's the one that I wanted. So I'm preparing, or I actually prepared already a PDF. And this PDF is looking like this. Sorry, I had to do a little bit of a muck around with the PDF. But this is the PDF that I'm preparing, and I'm going to share with you in the Telegram group. So it's important that you are part of my Telegram group. Those ones that arrived just now, the link to join the Telegram group is in the comments in Facebook, YouTube, and those ones in Instagram. You can go to the link in my bio, and once you click on that link, there is one button for you to join my Telegram group. So I will be sharing this PDF with you guys, but I will ask you one thing or two things before I share this PDF in Telegram. But the PDF is going to be like this. I spoke about your CV, to invest your time in your CV, customizing your curriculum. I talk about already the cover letter, the importance of the cover letter, merit basis. And now I'm going to talk about job search and job research. So going back to my notes. Here are my notes. So what I'm going to do to ask you to do so I can share this PDF in my Telegram, I'm going to do a post in my Instagram, and then I just would like you guys to like the post, get some engagement, and then put in the comments an answer to a question for you, just to name one item of your checklist to get a professional job here in Australia as an engineer. So I might probably going to do now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a picture of the PDF that I'm preparing. There's a picture there. And then I'm going to do an Instagram post with that picture. And I'm going to ask a question. Name one item to be in your checklist to get a professional job in Australia. Okay. Share. So that's going to go to my Instagram. Yeah, that's there already. So what I would like you guys to do is to like the post and then put in the comments the answer to that. Name one item to be in your checklist to get a professional job in Australia. And then if I get some engagement, I will then share this PDF with you guys in the Telegram. And this PDF is going to be protected by a password that I'm going to be releasing towards the end of this live session, so you stay with me until the end. I put a lot of time to prepare this live session, so I think it's fair enough for me to ask a little bit of engagement so my content goes to more people. All right, so I'm going to talk about job search and job research. So what's going to be the difference between job search and job research? There's a fundamental difference between job search and job research. The job search, usually you just go to those job seeker websites like indeed.com.au or seek.com.au, and then you just put in the keywords your search. For example, you search a job for civil engineer in Brisbane, for example. I'm a civil engineer and I live in Brisbane. So let's say that you just put that search, and then you have lots of results. You will find the company name, and then there's a button to apply for the job, and you will apply for the job. And that's basically job search. Some of the job search characteristics. It's an old school job search. It's based on the past and looking for similar jobs. Usually applicants, they send loads of resumes like a machine gun. So you prepare one resume and you send 10, 20 resumes, same resumes to all of the jobs that you can find. Resumes and cover letters are pretty much the same. It's usually a generic document, and you don't spend time to prepare your documents. And documents means your resume and your cover letter. But then the job research characteristics are different. First, you explore your personal brand. Remember, when you are searching for a job, you are selling yourself. You're selling your professional job. So you need to explore and build a personal brand. Another characteristic of the job research is to think that you are selling yourself as a professional. You're not just selling or spreading your resume and your cover letter. You're selling yourself as a professional. Your resume and your cover letter will transpire what would it be like to work with you and the value that you can bring to the company. The documents are strategically tailored to the position that you are applying for. One CV is different to the other, as positions are usually different. And because you tailored your CV, you customized your CV, obviously the CVs are going to be different, slightly different. If the positions are similar, obviously they'll be similar, but slightly different. And you will invest time to prepare your documents by researching about the company, the projects that they are delivering, the profile of people in the interview panel. Sometimes when you are shortlisted and you receive the interview invitation, you have the names of the panel members, and then you can search and research about those people. So you try to build a rapport when you are in the interview process. So this is basically the difference between job search and job research. And this will be in the PDF as well. The other item in your checklist is to be job ready. And one important item is to validate your engineering qualification. When you validate your engineering qualification, it's one step further to be job ready. Majority of companies now, they are asking for you if you are validated or not. And why is that? Obviously, those companies, majority, they are reputable companies. And why do they ask if you are validated or not? Especially in times like this, where there is still a large number of engineers in the market. And every time that a company or a recruitment agency, they advertise a position for engineers, they ended up having at their disposal a broad range of options. Usually, you ended up getting between 20, 30, even 50 applications for an engineer position. So let's imagine the following scenario. You are the agent or the recruitment company agent, or you are from the recruitment company or the employer person, and you advertise a position for a part-time graduate engineer. And then you ended up getting about 45 to 50 resumes. The next step when you receive your application, you need to shortlist candidates for the professional interview. And usually you will shortlist probably 3, 4, maybe 5 candidates. And in this process, you have in front of you 50 applications. And you need to eliminate let's say 45, you're going to interview, let's say 5 engineers. And you need to eliminate 45. And you don't really have a lot of time. Time is money. So you're probably going to set up some criteria for you to eliminate. And usually the first criteria is if the candidates are validated or not. Because if you receive 50 applications, probably 20 of those, at least 20 of those, will be already engineers that are validated, or they are already chartered professional engineers. So it means that you can eliminate about 30 candidates just because they are not validated yet. Because if you have 20 applicants that are validated or even chartered professional engineers, you have very good chance to find at least 4 or 5 in those 20 candidates that you will be willing to interview. So if you're not validated, your chances to at least be shortlisted is going to be very close to 0, because you are competing with another 20 engineers that are probably already validated or registered with the Board of Engineers in their states. And now I live in Brisbane, in Queensland, and in Queensland for the last 90 years, there is a registration scheme for professional engineers. New South Wales and Victoria, they started 1 July this year, their registration scheme. And they are in a transition period, but very, very shortly, for you to provide professional engineering services in New South Wales and Victoria, you will need to be like in Queensland. If you're not registered, you cannot provide professional engineering services, which means that companies, they are asking not just for validated engineers, but also for registered professional engineers of Queensland. So if you're not even validated, it means that you're not registered, and your competitiveness in the labor market is going to be obviously almost 0. So it's certainly, to become job ready, it's important to get your qualification validated. The other item in the checklist is to think about what type of jobs you're going to be applying for. And majority of you guys will be applying for a professional job while on an international student visa. When I arrived in Australia 16 years ago, I was an international student, and I was applying under my international student visa. And I think until today, majority of you guys will have a condition to work a maximum of 20 hours a week. And obviously, a student visa is a temporary visa. Unless you have a permanent visa, permanent resident visa, you can't really work 40 hours a week. There are some international student visas that allow you to work 40 hours a week, but majority will just be allowed to work part-time or 20 hours a week. And if you are in this case, this means that you are then applying for a professional job. And it's important to remember that if you can just work 20 hours a week, it's important that you apply for part-time jobs. Because if you're applying for a permanent full-time job, one, you are a temporary visa holder. So perhaps that's going to prevent you to be shortlisted, because they after somebody that has indefinite right to work in Australia, i.e. a citizen or a permanent resident. And also, if you're applying for a full-time job, the company is expecting that you can work 40 hours a week. Unless they say that they're willing to provide a sponsor, or that they're going to apply for a working visa that you can work more than 20 hours a week. So if you're a student visa on a temporary visa, it's important that you apply for part-time and temporary jobs. You can always try to apply for permanent full-time, but you just need to be mindful that your expectations that perhaps you're not going to get an interview because you may not be eligible for that. And also it's important to observe the type of job that you're going to apply, the position titles. So perhaps it's a good idea if you also apply not just for engineer jobs, but also just to start with the industry, to have your foot in the door. So position titles like draftsperson, assistant engineer, assistant project manager, project costing officer, project management officer, estimator, procurement officer, quality representative, or even receptionist in an engineering company, or contract officer. So those position titles, and they will be in the PDF as well, they perhaps can help you to start in the industry. And once you are there working in those jobs, perhaps you get to know, you will increase your networking, and perhaps you get to know a position as an engineer that you can apply for. And even in a labor position like construction worker, like a plant operator, if you have a license to operate plants, for example, or even general labor. So you work as a construction worker, and then you get to know the project manager, you get to know the engineer, and then they get to know that you are an engineer, and especially if you are validated or registered, if a position comes up, you're probably going to get good chances to get a job as an engineer. Just mindful of the time, even though we had a little bit of delay. It's been already half an hour. And I would like to ask you guys if you guys have any questions about how to get a professional job here in Australia. Obviously, there's many more contents that I could be talking to you about getting a professional job, and that's why I have a special series in my live sessions, where in my live sessions I talk a little bit about some areas to help you to get a professional job every week. Last week I talked about if you need or not to be validated as an engineer to get a professional job. This week I'm talking about this checklist for you to prepare yourself better to get a professional job. Next week I'll probably going to talk about the validation process, the engineering qualification validation process, so you can understand a little bit more what you need to do to validate your qualification here in Australia. And the week after, perhaps I'll talk about professional jobs as well. So I'm just going to double check if there is any question there in the comments. And also I would like to remember you guys that in December, I'm going to be promoting my free workshop. I want to become an engineer in Australia. So I've promoted my last workshop in September, beginning of September, and there were a lot of people participating in the workshop, and I thank you guys very much for that. Those ones that missed out the free online workshop, I will be promoting another one starting on the 5th of December, 10 a.m. It's a Sunday, 10 a.m. Brisbane time, with a live webinar. And there will be a full week of events where if you participate in the full week, you will learn everything that you need to do to start your application to validate your engineering qualification in Australia. And I'm going to actually write in the comments the site that you can register for free to the workshop. So those ones on Instagram, you can go to the link in my bio, and then there is a button after you click on that link that you can register yourself for free for the next workshop, and you will be receiving notifications in your email. And you can also join my WhatsApp group. When you confirm your registration, there will be a button that you can join my WhatsApp group for the workshop, so I can then notify you, especially because emails are a bit difficult. Sometimes it goes to the junk mail and you don't get my emails. All right. I said that I was going to say the password to that PDF. So the password is going to be professional job. So all in lowercase, professional job in the singular. So that's going to be the password of the PDF, professional job. And I'm going to actually put in comments in Instagram so you guys get to know. Professional job. So that's going to be the password for the PDF. But remember, you need to go to my post in Instagram, this post here in my profile, and then need to like that post and write in the comments one item that needs to be in your checklist to get a professional job. If I get engagements, I will then produce this PDF here that I'm going to show to you guys, and then I'm going to post in my Telegram. So if you're not in the Telegram, it's a good idea to join my Telegram so you can access this PDF here. All right, looks like we don't really have any questions, and I would like to thank you guys very much, and I will certainly see you next Sunday, 8:30 p.m. Brisbane time, talking about a subject about engineering qualification validation here in Australia. Thank you very much, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.